What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for yet another new series. This is a crazy indie season. Like, I can't even rationalize to you guys right now how many codes I'm getting hit with on a daily basis, and I'm doing the best I can to, like, pick and choose among them and be like, this looks cool, this looks cool, this looks cool. So, welcome to Niflheim, a game about being a Viking with a cold. No, this game is called Niflheim, and it's the story of a Viking who was abducted on his way to Valhalla. So he dies in combat, and then while he's on his funeral ship with his soul and everything, some evil spirits come and abduct him and take him to the land of Niflheim, where he's gonna have to, like, suffer through trials and stuff like that. It's pretty badass. The game is kind of weird. It's got wonky combat, but at the same time, it is a lot of fun. I played it all night last night. Like, seriously, I played way too much last night, and it has messed with my sleep schedule entirely. And so I figured, that being the case, it should be probably a game that goes up on the channel, considering I liked it that much. I realize some people will see this game and be like, it seems wonky. Sure, certain aspects of it are, but graphically and in terms of, like, the artistry, if you like Viking stuff, this game is a definite win. It's a sandbox game, kind of like Terraria meets almost a point-and-click game. It's hard to describe until you see it in action, but let's get started with the single player. I got an intro for you.
The last crusade awaits, the most lonely and bitter. Brave warrior sets off in a funeral ship. Sacred ritual ended with a farewell song. Holy flame destroyed all earthly ties. The gods wait in their chambers, but short paths are not meant for the brave. Dark demons, ancient lords of deceit, abducted the soul floating quietly towards Asgard. With faithful sword and his fate in his hands, he enters Niflheim, the harsh land of ancient spirits.
Alright, so let's select our profile. That's actually the intro video for the game, but I feel like they would be better served putting it in after you click play the game, because I skipped through it thinking it was a splash screen for the development company, and so I didn't even know what the storyline was until I watched it way later just on a whim. And so anyways, we're gonna go profile number 2 right here. We're gonna call it, I don't know, let's call it Piggleshire. Play. Alright, and so now we've got to choose where Piggleshire will be at. So I don't think there's any difference in between any of these maps. In fact, I think what you're choosing right here is like where your character is from. I'm not entirely sure, because I tried each one when I was playing the game before, and it looked like it generated the same map each time that I did it. I didn't see any real changes, and so I'm just gonna pick the one that looks the coolest, and that's definitely the ow! I like wolves, and so I'm gonna go with the wolf. I also like the one with the eagle over here because it kind of reminds me of Warhammer 40k, but I'm gonna go with the wolf. I do like bears as well. I am from California, so I am partial to bears. Frankly, I like everything here, but the color green is the shit, so that's what we're gonna choose. The loading screen of Asgard. Yeah, it changes the color of your flag, and I think it changes the color of your tabard, too, that's on your character. I think it's actually where you start, actually, when you go with the bear, you start down here. If you start with the eagle, you start down here, so I don't know. The maps kind of look the same to me, so I have no idea. Hopefully I can use this as a tutorial for all of you, too, because I actually played and failed at the game 4 or 5 times before I figured it all out. So welcome to the One-Eyed Wolf Forest. Our characters here, this is us walking around. We can click to move around. We can press the 1 key. We got a bow. We've got an axe. And we've also got a pickaxe, but we can equip that a little bit later. Welcome to the lands of Niflheim, warrior. We hold your fate and destination in our hands. You must defend your land from the enemy and retrieve an ancient artifact, the Dragon Forebearer, and bring it to us. You will be graced with our goodwill and recognized as a great warrior. We will show you the way to Asgard as a reward. Okay, so that's the gods. They're going to give us quests every now and again. It's mostly a glorified tutorial. This is our house. It's not much of a looker on the outside, but believe me, on the inside, it's definitely got a bit of a fixer-upper vibe. These are nodes that we can craft on to create new locations. But for now, I'd recommend we just go explore and adventure while the gods think about giving us our first task. Oh, hello, little Viking frog. How are you doing today? That right there was like a cockerill or something like that. A cockerilla. I don't know what to call it. We need logs, so I'm just going to get started on that now. Let's chop it to treeses. For Jesus. Nope, Vikings don't chop it at trees for Jesus. They actually do reloading for Odin. And so, greetings, warrior. We are asking you to gather resources. Cut down trees using your axe. You will get bread in return. And so there's a tree down. We got a pine cone and a log. I'm going to chop this big tree back here. The size of the tree does determine how many logs you get out of it. And if all of the leaves fall off of the tree, it no longer produces lumber. It only produces sticks. So keep that in mind. I am going to try and make this a tutorial along the way because it took me a while to figure the game out. I failed 1 or 2 times before I got everything all nice and in, and each map does have limited resources for you to go after. They regrow after a time, but you kind of need to plan things out as you play. Now, you can press the shift key if you wanted to pick stuff up automatically. I would definitely recommend that in some of the deeper dungeons. All of these mushrooms and things are things that we can pick and add to our inventory if we wanted. Oh, that's a chicken right there. It's not a cockerella. Okay, cockerellas are around here somewhere, and we'll go after those in a minute. I'm looking for big trees, right? I do want that, though. That kabaji. I'm going to bring that with me. And there's a wolf over here. That's a chicken. We need to capture a chicken. If we don't capture a chicken, it's going to make our life very difficult later. And so what I'm going to recommend you do is press the I key to open your inventory. Find a bush with a chicken near it. Take this stick trap, right-click it, and put drop. And you're going to leave it right there. And when a chicken wanders out, hopefully the frog doesn't trigger it. I'm going to kill the frog just in case. I don't want the frog to mess with my... Actually, by beating the frog to death, you get a live frog that you can put in your inventory. And so my hope is that a chicken will get caught in there. If we catch a cockerel or a cockerella or whatever the hell you want to call it, I call them cockerellas because it's funnier. But anyways, if you catch a chicken, we can use that a little bit later on, and it's a major, major item. Like, seriously, you want to use that first trap to catch a chicken. Don't catch anything else with it. If you catch a cockerel with it, that's okay. But a chicken is the golden prize that you want here for that trap. So while we're chopping trees, I'm going to leave that trap back there and let it do its thing. But look at this game. Isn't it beautiful to look at? The game is just super badass. You can tell it was made... Oh, we've got a wolf over here. He wants to bite me in the face. Let us do battle, wolf. You are weak. You and your dog-like structure will be penetrated by my blade. And also my boot, because when my Viking flies into a rage, he will kick you sporadically because it makes him feel better. He's going to drop a wolf hide and some teeth because we kicked him on out of him. So one wolf down. Let's chop another couple trees. Chopping and whacking and smacking and cracking and lacking when it comes to the wood. Our Viking is lacking wood. It's unfortunate for him. We need 10 timber and we get 2 bread and 15 coins for it. The coins are important. I'm going to explain that a little bit later. Oh man, there's another wolf over here. This is not a good day for us. There's a lot of wolves around. This is problematic. We can solve the wolf problem later. There's a charm that gives you a magic spell that allows you to become invisible to wolves. They basically become like your kinsmen. They don't fight for you or anything like that, but they completely and totally ignore you, and so you can just walk right past them. It's kind of nice. We just completed our quest. So that's 10 timber down. We're going to get 2 bread. I want the bread. The bread allows us to heal a whole bunch, and we are definitely going to need some healing. Our character's kind of squishy right now. He's not the best. It says he's a brave, mighty warrior. Truth of the matter is, he's okay at fighting, but he's not that good at it. We're going to have to kill these wolves either way, so we might as well get down on it right now. You can right-click to block in combat. I fail to see the point, though. I have yet to find a reason to block. I don't know. You can do it, but it doesn't appear to make much of a difference. Like, the combat in this game is kind of hack and slash in kind of a Diablo-esque way, so you kind of just want to get in there and get your hacks in and kill as quickly as possible. That's what I focus on. Maybe there is a point to blocking, but I haven't found it yet. You press the little button up here to open your character sheet so you can equip all kinds of new armor. All of your skills will level up as time goes along. You actually level these up Skyrim style or Elder Scrolls style by using them. Let me eat a bread real fast so we can get some health back. And then I'm going to deal with this other wolf over here. This right here is a burial mound. I think in one way or another you need to clear those in order to get enough treasure to go to the next map. When he howls, I like to stab him. I don't know if that's a wise decision. I think blocking lowers the damage you take or something, but it seems like I get the job done faster and I take less damage when I just don't bother with blocking. Ah, we are level 1 warrior now. This right here is a carrot, I think, so I kind of want it. Later on in the map, you're going to find all kinds of stuff, so we can go inside it here if you want. It's a dungeon, though, and we are not prepared. We kind of want to gear up on the surface before we go down in there. Otherwise, really, really bad things are going to... I know our dude right here, he looks like what a man should look like, you know what I mean? Like, manly men that make stuff with their hands and smell like motor oil and like, I don't know, tree sap. That's what I envision in my head. And he looks tough. He looks like he could probably punch somebody to death with one finger. However, he's actually kind of squishy at this point in the game, so be careful about it. You can die quite easily. Luckily, dying is not that big of a deal in this game. Like, if you die, it's... meh, who cares? Like, don't worry about it. You can fix that pretty easily. I'm going to equip this, and we are going to use the pickaxe. Oh, man, we got another wolf over here. You can shoot him with the bow, but I prefer to save my bow for hunting. just in case. So if you wanted to follow my lead, you'd want to save the boat for hunting because it allows you to one-shot chickens and cockerels, and that allows you to hunt food to heal yourself. I would save this nest right here for later. Actually, no, let's take it. We're going to go ahead. There's a quest later on to find eggs, and I actually don't know. Did he give that one? Oh, we got the gatherer quest. There it is. Greetings, warrior. We are asking you to gather some resources for us. Find a nest with eggs. In return, you will get a fried egg as a reward. Now, be aware, it takes these items from you when you turn in these quests. I didn't mention that before, but the fried egg is better than the raw egg, and so it's worth it. Plus, doing these quests will land you a whole bunch of money later on, and so I'm going to eat that to get my health back. Be careful about your food supplies. It's not going to matter because there's a cook pot over here. You can build one of these inside of your house later on, but this is the one you're going to be using in order to make yourself some victuals while you get the stuff together in order. There's a sheep over here. Huh. His sheepish tactics. I'm going to stab this guy to death real fast. I found that you attack faster if you click as fast as you can with the mouse. If you hold it down, you don't attack quite as fast. So just be aware of that situation. If you hold it down, he will attack, but it's slower than like mass clicking. And they'll probably, oh, we've got a windstorm. So windstorms make your Viking walk like there's a windstorm happening. It makes it seem like he's got some resistance. Frankly, I don't know if maybe the food was really, really good on his longboat or what happened. Apparently, he's been a prolific Viking because as far as I know about medieval times, people were skinny back then. And he's got himself a little bit of a gut going. So I'm assuming he was pretty good at the pillaging and plundering because being a little bit girthy back in the day, having a little bit of weight to you back in ye olden days was difficult to do. We need rabbit hides next. Greetings, warrior. We are asking you to gather some... I could go into all the theatrics about it, but they want 2 rabbit hides. The gods apparently have a vested interest in rabbit hide. I don't know. We can cook stuff over here. So this cook pot right here, it's dangerous to come out here because mobs do respawn. Oh, yeah, and also you can click the arrows to get more recipes. It took me a while to realize that. It takes things a while to respawn, so be careful about that, but you will sometimes get a bunch of monsters around the cook pot, which if you're at low health and trying to desperately cook something to get your health back, can create kind of a major issue for you, and so watch out for it. For right now, we've got a pretty good selection of stuff that we can craft. However, we don't have enough of it. We only have 1 bean, we only have like 1 radish, we only have 1 turnip, we don't have any honey pumpkins, so we'll come back in just a little bit. The honey pumpkin sounds like a sex move. Hit it with the honey pumpkin. Can't even put that on the internet. It's so nasty. You ever done a honey pumpkin before? I bet you haven't. You gotta pay for that kind of shit. Alright, let's get this done. I'm going to eat that fried egg in just a minute to get our health back from fighting with the wolf. We are a level 1 warrior, and you do get stronger as you level up as a warrior. You'll hit harder. In addition, you get new gear that'll make it easier too. There's a boar over there, and frankly, I'm not in the mood to be bored. I want to be entertained, and so we're going to go back over to... Plus, the boar is terrifying and will drain my entire health bar with, like, the swoosh of his pinky hoof. Let's chop down a couple more trees. Obviously, in every survival game, you gotta chop down a shit ton of trees. It's a staple of the genre. You kinda have to do it. In order to collate the experience, you gotta play with the staple. We could try to beat that sheep to death, but I'm gonna leave it alone for right now because I think I gotta capture one later. And killing it means I gotta wait for it to respawn later. And sometimes the respawn timers are weird. Sometimes it happens right when you want it to. Sometimes it don't. We got 3 logs out of there. We'll chop this guy real fast. Get on in here, those dangly skulls on top of that mound. That's what I want my gravestone to look like right there. I want local kids to tell stories about it. Like, oh yeah, you know who's buried over there, right? Splattercat, local legend. Played video games on the internet and entertained children. So we buried him in this giant warrior mound because he'd never done anything violent like ever on the internet. It seemed like it fit. We got some resin right there. That wasn't amber that fell out of that tree. It'd be amazing if amber fell out of that tree. Did we just pick up a second turnip? Yes, we did. So we're going to go make turnip stew real fast. Or fried turnips or whatever it is. Try to hoard as much food as you can. Inventory space is limited in this game, so refine things whenever you have the availability to do so. Plus, once we start adventuring and going down into dungeons and stuff like that, it gets kind of gnarly. There are creatures that want to kill you. Now, it doesn't put it in your inventory. It puts it on the ground right here. So when you cook something, make sure you pick it up off the ground because... I was baffled the first time it happened. I didn't see it place it on the ground, and I was like, what is going on right now? I was looking everywhere for my turnip stew, and I couldn't find it. Turnip stew, we took that, and it's going to give us 80 HP, and so that's probably a good one to use right now. Not to be confused with ADHD. You don't get that from eating turnips. You get that from, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue where that comes from. Comes from somewhere. Some great dispensary in the sky, I suppose. I'm going to chop down a few more trees because we're going to need a shit ton of lumber. Like, for realsies, we're going to need a lot of lumber to get some of these projects going. But by the end of the episode, I hope to at least have you a little bit versed in how the game works because there's a learning curve. I got my ass kicked a lot before I figured out like how everything works in this game. And you got to be careful because there's limited supplies. Limited supplies. I could take that bird out and we could have a cooked chicken. But we can't actually prepare poultry until we have salt. And so we need to go mine in the dungeon for a little while to get some rock salt. And then once we've got rock salt, we can take that little chicken right there, we can take it over to the pot, and we can turn it into preserved poultry or something like that. It gives you a ton of health. And if you can have 3 or 4 of those on board, it makes dungeon running a lot easier. A lot less nerve-wracking. The trees do drop wood based on how big they are, so keep that in mind. There's our chicken. Good. I'm going to pick that up. You'll see that it puts the chicken inside of our inventory and we lose the trap. That's okay. I don't care, because what we want to do with the chicken is we want to click on this right here and we want to build a chicken coop. Now, it's going to be a while before we can build the chicken coop. We got a lot more lumber harvesting to do. There are things to get done before the chicken coop becomes available, but catching the chicken is the bane of my existence since stick traps are not producible for a while. And so that first one that you start with, you kind of want to put... Ooh, cranberries, man. I love cranberries. I'm a sucker for a cranberry. Like craisins, oh my god. Cranberries might be one of my favorite fruits, all things considered. I don't talk about healthy foods very often, but damn do I love cranberries. Love, love, love cranberries. Such a delicious flavor. We got another nest over there. Now we can break down that nest and get straw, or we can leave it where it lies and we can harvest it for eggs every now and again. I would recommend leaving it for eggs, I think. And also, we might have to fight a wolf, but I need this straw right here. Straw is going to be important for a bunch of our construction later on. And it's kind of rare. You don't see it very often, so we could shoot the wolf with the arrows, but I'm going to save him for hunting. We got good health right now, so I don't care about going into melee. Stabbatures! Destruction! Annihilation! I am an enemy of all things dog, for I am cat of the cat tribe. There we go. Ooh, what are these? Persimmons? What are these right here? Ooh, there's another wolf. Man, it's kind of a rough day for us, isn't it? More wolf slaughter. Yeah, don't kick him. That doesn't do as... I think it does the same damage, actually. But for some reason, I just don't like the kicking. There we go. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. I like the music in this game, by the way. The music is super badass. So we got some sweet persimmons. Indeed, we did. So we can cook those up. I'm going to eat the egg real fast to get some health back, and then we've got a golden pumpkin. I don't think that's the pumpkin. I think we need a honey pumpkin in order to cook it. We got 5 wolf hides. Did they give me another quest? Oh, the 2 rabbit hides. I forgot about that. Now, these can be kind of hard to come by if your map doesn't have rabbits. If your map doesn't have rabbits available, you might run into a brick wall here. It could happen. I'm going to eat that sausage to get my health back. And as you can see, our food supply is like rapidly dwindling. And there is so much more combat that we're going to have to fight. This is going to happen to you too. It's hard to keep yourself in food in this game. And it's hard to keep yourself in healing, but I have figured out a trick that later on down the line we'll be able to employ. There's a reason I'm killing all these wolves. If the wolves have a chance to drop a thing called the wolf charm. The wolf charm is really, really good. It makes you start regenerating and it makes you invisible to wolves. We talked about it a little bit earlier. And so if you can get your hands on one, it kind of eliminates the wolf problem, which is the major issue with the first map. That's right, you can go to the other maps. Unfortunately, it cost me money, and so we don't have money right now. But you know the map that we selected at the beginning of the game to choose where we wanted to go? You can buy property in the other areas and transfer in between maps when you're trying to farm materials and stuff like that. And then the maps will generate differently each time as well, because this is all randomly generated here. What is that, a squash right there? Is that a zucchini? Got a lot of food on this map. I'll give it that. My last map was not nearly so generous with the food. So we have 2 carrots. I'm trying to see if we have enough right now to cook anything. We got something hiding back behind that tree right there, so I'm going to try and gather it. We've got 3 peas. I don't think you can make split pea soup or anything like that. We're going to have to wait a little bit. Oh, we did get a couple more eggs, though, but they're next to a boar. So that's problematic. Let's chop down a couple more trees. I want my lumber supply to be like 25-ish to 30-ish before we leave. And then once we go back to base, you and I are going to explore some of the facilities that exist below the surface that have a bunch of crafting stations and stuff like that. There's a ton of crafting in this game. There's lots of stuff you can do. And so I assume there's going to be lots of projects for us to work on while we're rifling our way through Viking society here. Who knew that in the afterlife you have to chop down trees, huh? Who knew? That's a couple more logs right there. We're up to 23. I said 25 to 30, so anywhere in that bracket is fine with me. Hopefully on our way back east, something will have spawned so that we can make use of it. I don't think I can do anything with carrots. I don't think I can do anything with a lot of this stuff in my inventory, in all honesty. It'll probably be useful for our little cook pot downstairs, which I may build first. I haven't decided what I'm going to build first yet. A little bit more wood to be had right there. 4 more. 27 sounds great. So let's head back. I don't want to spend too much time dicking around with wood chopping. That is a dope place to be buried. Like, no lie, that is where somebody who just balled out hard in life gets buried. Good, we got more straw, and we got more persimmons. Fantastic, they grew back already. I was worried about our straw supply a little bit. There's a lot of dungeons on this map. I don't recall my last map having this many dungeons. You gotta go down in these and clear them, and I assume something happens after you clear them. Occasionally, our house will be attacked by zombies or, like, other factions. They can totally destroy your house. I'm pretty sure that's the losing criteria. I've never had my house destroyed yet, but I have had to defend it with my life. And so anyways, just be aware. Things can go wrong here. Let's have a look. I'm going to show you the base before we end the episode, because we only got a couple of minutes left. And so while I think this little tutorial is going to take us a couple episodes to get through, you press down to go inside your house, by the way, in case you were wondering. Welcome to the workshop. So what we have in the workshop is basically a bunch of blanks that we can turn into crafting stations if we want. This one right here becomes a cook pot, and it's going to cost us 5 building stones, 6 twigs, and some timber. That's actually pretty cheap, so I might build that first. You kind of want to build these in a relative order because some things are more expensive than others, and it's very, very easy to chop down all the trees on your map before you can finish things off. Alchemy station right here for making potions and magic. They patched the game this morning, though, so the respawn rate does seem a little bit faster from what I've seen. This is our storage chest over all the way to the right, and in fact, I'm going to utilize this right now. I'm going to put the frog in there. I'm going to eat them. That's a marrow. I don't even know what a marrow is. I assume it's like a squash or something. I'm going to put the coal illuminator inside of there. I'm going to put the pine cones inside of here. Resin inside of here. Things that we're not going to be using for a little bit are all going to go inside the chest. Unfortunately, you can't shift click or anything just yet. I've tried just about every set of keys to try and get these to go in just with one click, and it doesn't exist. Hopefully, that'll be added in the future. I don't really know what else to add right there. We don't need the zucchini seeds until we have a farm. We don't need whatever those are, dry seeds until the farm. Everything else is looking pretty good, though. Like, most of this other stuff is going to be things that we want to keep around, are going to be things that we want to keep around. Sorry, I just made English teachers flinch. I don't like doing that stuff. Let me take crafting materials, and we're going to bring those up towards the top, whereas things that give a lot of HP will be in the uppermost layer. Twigs, stone, wolf hide, teeth. And actually the chicken can go in there for right now too. Just go ahead and throw the chicken in a chest, and then we'll worry about it a little bit later. Close that on down, and I'll show you some of the facilities on the left-hand side, and then that'll be it for this episode of Niflheim. They call it Niflheim in the opening, but I thought it was Niflheim. I don't know, Sniffleheim, whatever. Our guy's got the sniffles. Conquering the sniffles is the only way that he can enter Valhalla. Bring forth Ludens, and all of the NyQuil that you can conjure. I think they buffed his move speed a little bit, too. He seemed like he was moving a little bit slower last night. I think he's moving quicker now. So we have a sawmill over here. Just allows you to convert timber into boards and does a couple other small things. It allows you to craft a couple of item sets. This thing right here, I haven't figured out what it's for. I assume it's for, like, pre-order bonuses or something. I'm assuming it's, like, for Kickstarter backers or something. If you know the code, maybe you can open it. I don't know. Doesn't appear to be that. It's a 3-digit code, so technically it wouldn't take too long to mash your way through. It'd take a while if you wanted to brute force it, but I'm sure somebody will figure it out. It's probably 666. That's a Viking number. Oh, it can't be the same number twice, though. So that eliminates a number of, well, it eliminates some of the possibilities, but still. This over here is your forge. So we're going to be making weaponry and all that kind of good stuff. The melting furnace, I'm sorry. Melting furnace. Over here is an old rusty gate that I like to lick every now and again when I want to get that metallic flavor in my mouth. And this right here is the trophy room. And yes, you can luxuriously recline on your throne while holding an axe threateningly. My name is Splattercat. That's the facilities for right now. Back at the beginning, if you press down on the door you came through, you can go down into the mine and start to dig out some stone. And if you press up, it takes you back to the overworld. They don't really explain that at any point, and so just figured I'd let you know. I walked around for a minute trying to figure out where the exit to my own house was because I thought you pressed down to go inside of buildings all the time. It turns out you press down to go down a layer and up to go up a layer, and you just got to keep a relative thought in your head of where you are. And so anyways, that's Niflheim. I'll see you in the next episode. I hope y'all liked it. Bye, everybody. It's been fun.